It is almost 10 o'clock. I can't stay on long. Heading over to see a couple of patients. So I got about 15, 20 minutes. So, did anyone watch the convention? I didn't. I saw some of the highlights. Didn't miss much. It's okay. Back. Hope I didn't lose anybody. But it was a Trump bash session, and that's what you're gonna get because the a convention's just the delegates and the hardcore political people. So nothing of substance. But you saw some of the interviews being taken place this morning and yesterday about they're trying to sell people on her economic agenda, which is nothing. Build the middle class, make this affordable, make that affordable, blah, blah, blah. Same stuff we always hear. Good morning. Same stuff we always hear. I think the two biggest things you can take out of the comments that we've heard is the so-called price gouging. She wants to go after the price gouging. Like I said before, hey UK, what's up? I'm saying good morning because it's morning for me, it's afternoon for you. But they call it price gouging, but it's not. It's just inflation. We went over that yesterday. The consumer price index is up 20% or more since 2020. The second thing we heard yesterday from Speaker of the House, Jeffries, the minority Speaker of the House, is that she wants to let the Trump era tax expire. So what would that do? Okay, so there's two trains of thought there, right? Two trains of thought. But we're gonna try to simplify it, okay? So the big thing that Trump did with those tax cuts was no, I'm not. Some of the big things that Trump's tax cuts was it lowered the corporate rate, right? It lowered it from 35 to 21%. And the reason why it did that, to try to make our USA-based corporations more competitive, right? More competitive, to give the U.S.-based corporations an incentive to stay here, keep jobs here, keep manufacturing here. And what it also did was it allowed the corporations, thanks Davis, RJ, what it also did was it allowed the corporations like Apple and Walmart to bring back the money that was sitting overseas so it'd be taxed less, right? And we saw that because when they brought it back, my dad, who worked at Walmart, got $1,000 bonus. These corporations were giving out money to the workers, giving out bonus checks. So if these tax cuts expire, the corporate rate's going to go from 21 to 35. So that's going to have an effect. Okay, you can't raise taxes on a corporation 14% overnight and not have a chilling effect. There's going to be, you might see unemployment spike a little bit. I don't know how much, but you can see unemployment go up. You might see some corporations announce that they're going to move their jobs, move jobs overseas again. Like from the U.S., we go to Mexico. Um, the when we file our taxes, it's going to be a little bit more filing our taxes is going to be a little bit more complicated because instead of, they raised the standard deduction to 25,000, which would, you know, when they raised it to 25,000, a lot of people who used to itemize um, didn't have to do it anymore, right? So now, if that expires, people will start itemizing again, and the standard deduction is going to go down from 25 to 12,000, right? So they analyzed it. If the tax cuts expired, the tax rates would go up for 60% of Americans. 60%. And that's a big hit. In the middle class, like myself, we would bear the brunt of that. So, once people get used to something, it's hard to go the other way, right? It's hard to take it back now. So they said that if it expires, that they're going to raise $5 trillion in revenue over 10 years. I mean, that's a lot of money to suck out of people, right? You take that much money out of the system, whether it's corporate or individual, someone's going to pay the price. And it's going to be a heavy price. It's going to be a heavy price because, no one loses money. No one loses money. They pass that. They pass that on to us. So it'll be tricky. If Harris gets in and she does do all that, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem. So we'll see. So far, from what I've heard them talk about, her economic plan is not much of an economic plan. It really isn't. There's nothing of substance there. Sorry about that. Sorry. But I'm at my place. I have to go in the. When you make announcements, it's really the surrogates are trying to sell it, right? The surrogates are out there trying, but they're trying to sell it. They're trying to defend it, right? Because the Washington Post has come after them. The New York Times has come after it. The New York Times is calling a lot of her plans gimmicks. The Washington Post is after it. Some of the financial stations are for this plan. So you have to watch the surrogate situation. There's a difference between selling it and defending it, right? They're not out there telling you how great it's going to be. They're actually trying to say why we have to do it, But I think they got big problems with that. She's had a tremendous surge in the polls because everyone's excited. So like the Obama effect, right? But the problem was Barack Obama was a terrific speaker. When he spoke, it everyone liked it. Everyone liked it. When she speaks, she's been giving good speeches, but her problem has always been able to, stand up there and take questions. When she's had to take questions, she really hasn't done well, and I think that's why they're trying to hold her back from giving a press conference until they can get her more informed, more. And I heard they're working with her. They've said that they're working with her to try to get her a better off-the-cuff speaker. So we'll see. We'll see how long they can hold out. The media is going to start raising hell. If she doesn't come out and start speaking, and all you have to do, right? The first question. All you have to do if you're the media, is say you and Biden have been in office since 2020. Consumer prices are up over 20%. I gave you the facts and figures yesterday. Let me see. Facts and figures, and we just go over this real quick. First question. You a few months ago, you were praising Biden economics, right? You were praising Biden economics. So, transportation's up 30% since 2020. Food and beverage is up 25%. Housing is up 23%. Goods and services are up 22%. Recreation's up 13%. Everything's up, right? The cost of farming is up 28%. So now we know why a lot of our food is up. And gas prices are up 36%. Gas prices are up 36% since 2020. And overall food prices are up 26%. So that speaks for itself. You've been in office since 2020, and we're getting killed. We're getting killed in the prices. So I don't see how anyone is sitting back and saying that, this is a good thing, right? It's a good thing she's a woman. It's a good thing that she has that she's of Indian descent. I think Jamaican. That's all well and fine, but you've been in office with the president since 2020, and the prices have gone up astronomical because of your all-out assault on energy, Green New Deal. I'm all for it. Listen, you want to put solar panels on. So here's the deal for you. I live in Florida, so they're trying to. Listen. I gotta make a whole nother video on that corporate greed. Here's the problem, right? I'm just gonna leave you with this, right? I hear people talk about corporate greed, right? But if you go to the UAW and you go to the SEIU, Longshoremen, local carpenters union, they have funds, they have pension funds, right? And these pension funds invest. Their pension funds are given to a brokerage house, and they invest their pension funds into these corporations, right? So you can sit there and cheer and say, tear them down, tear the corporations down, yeah, but how many of us have 401ks? How many of us have pension funds, right? You tear them down, you're just hurting yourself. That's the problem, right? I remember I was just talking to someone the other day. Where I live, every year they have the Walk for Life, right, against cancer. It's a big thing with the police, the firefighters, and the communities. Everyone goes out there, right? Everyone goes out there and they do the Walk for Life. They fight cancer and they raise money. So one day, I go because the police pension fund is public. So I go there. I'm snooping around, and I see, and they tell you what they're invested in, right? They tell you what they're invested in. Our police officers' pension fund has a partial investment in American tobacco. Hello, right? Half of them probably don't even know, right? They don't even know. Be in a union. There's a lot of unions. There's a lot of unions in the country. But when you talk about corporate greed, they're invested in these corporations, right? You go to work for Microsoft, you go to work for Google, they give you incentive packages that are based to their stock price, right? You get a salary, you get X amount of stock. Walmart allows their employees to buy the stock, right? They're investing in the stock. So you're kind of stuck. You start yelling corporate greed, let's tear them down. But a lot of us, but a lot of these same people, their pensions and their 401ks are tied into that. So if you say tear it down, you're just basically hurting yourself, right? Just hurting yourself. So you got to be smart. You got to be smart. For years I've been hearing this. Tear them down, tear them down, tear it down. Yeah, but if you have a pension, if you have a 401k, you don't want it torn down. You want them to do well. If you're someone who worked for Walmart for 30 years, which there's plenty of people that you bought stock, like my dad has. You don't want the stock price to tank. Especially if you haven't sold it to retirement and you still have it sitting there. You don't want that torn down. People still aren't paid crap. Well, rents are 12. People can't afford food. They want a roof. Listen, there's no doubt about it. People can't afford food. I just told you. Here in America, food and beverage is up 25% since 2020. People can talk off the top of their head and just try to make stuff up, right? But when you have the facts and you've written them down, and I told you about housing. Housing's crazy. Here in Florida, we don't have a lot of property, right? South Florida, you have to remember, below Lake Okeechobee, we have a national park, right? So that prevents like Miami and Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach from expanding west. They can't expand west because of the national park. So you basically have maybe 20 miles. Like I'm on the edge of the Everglades, right? Yeah, I'm on the edge. I'm probably about 15 miles from the beach. And then you got to go across the state practically to the west coast, which isn't far, like an hour drive, before you see housing again, right? So here in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, we're running out of land. So what they're trying to do now is build up, right? That's instead of being, a lot of people had one-story houses. Now they're going to two-story. They're giving you a smaller lot so they can fit more people there. And we have a place called Davie and Southwest Ranches where people live on acre lots. And you have developers now trying to go there and buy their homes so they can subdivide the lot and put 4 houses on 1 acre of property, and now they're fighting it. Hold on a second. Yeah, I didn't. Hey, Lord Duncan, I didn't do that. Delete your messages. I didn't do that. That must be an automatic thing. No, but I understand. Listen, it's not price gouging, man. It's not price gouging. Price gouging is a term that a political party uses. I can go to the store normally, and then when a hurricane hits, now $2,500. That's price gouging, right? But when farming is up, when a farmer, and these are facts right off from the agriculture website, government agriculture, the cost of farmer is up 28% since 2020 because of fertilizer and fuel, right? Biden attacked the fuel companies, right? Because he wants to go to electric, which is fine. It's fine, but how you gonna create a? It took what 100 and something years to come out with the car. Well, we've been doing the car gas powered, and now all of a sudden you want to try to take out all millions and millions of cars in 5 years. How are you gonna do it? I don't know about how it is in the rest of the country, but here in Florida, there's hardly any of these electric stations. You know, you see a lot of Teslas and you see a lot of hybrids now, but I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of unintended consequences for doing a lot of these things. And listen, I got to go. I'm a couple minutes late seeing my patient. I got to go. I'm supposed to be there by 10 o'clock, and I got carried away. In a couple hours, I'll be back on, and we'll start again. I hope to see everyone back. And don't be afraid to comment. Let's go.